And that was amazing. Thank you. Thank you. We're going to have a couple more things. I'm going to read a beautiful statement that RAWA sent for today, and then Morley's going to close us out. And I ask you all to stay because we're going to do a group picture that we're going to send out to the world. I wanted to say we're getting reports every minute from risings that are happening all over the planet right now. This is the beginning of a rising that is going to keep going and keep going until the people and the women of Afghanistan are free. And I want to say, I just want to say, when I went to Afghanistan for the first time 20 years ago under the Taliban with RAWA, in burqas, through the Khyber Pass, and I saw what the Taliban was doing to women. I saw the whip marks on their ankles. I saw the brave RAWA women who were taking video cameras into the stadiums under the burqa and videoing the executions to send out into the world. I saw the desecration of women's spirits and their ability to walk and move freely and to be educated and to work and to have lives. And I knew then, in my heart, that if the world gave permission for that, it would begin to spread. It would begin to be licensed. It would begin to be allowed. And the reason we must stand for the women of Afghanistan is obviously because we must support and be wind at their backs so that they can rise. But we have to say no to worldwide patriarchy and worldwide desecration of women. When we allow it in any place in the world, we allow it everywhere. When we allow murder, when we allow rapes, when we allow the rights of women to be choked and suffocated, we are saying that is possible anywhere in the world. So I love the idea of a ritual. I love the idea of holding women and put them on your altar. Put a symbol on it. Put your mask on your altar. Remember them. Hold them in your heart. Because none of us can rest until our sisters are free. And this is from the RAWA women. Our OBR sisters. The Revolutionary Association of the Women of Afghanistan would like to express its heartfelt gratitude to you and all men and women of the world who have gathered in different countries, in different continents, to show their solidarity with the tormented people of Afghanistan, especially its women. We thank V-Day and 1 Billion Rising and all the groups who have arranged these global actions to raise their united and mighty voice for us in our fight for freedom, justice, and democracy. We all remember very well 20 years back, the U.S. and NATO governments occupied Afghanistan under the banner of democracy and women's rights. And I will say as a parenthesis, why would anyone have believed that George and Laura Bush gave a shit about women's rights in Afghanistan when they never gave a shit about them here? They use beautiful terms like nation building and fighting extremism, but we doubted their honesty from the very beginning. They installed the most undemocratic and corrupt elements in power. On the other hand, U.S. played cat and mouse games with the Taliban that as a result of it, hundreds of innocent civilians, including children, lost their lives. The recent shameful example of killing a family under the name of killing ISIS is enough to show the nature of their anti-terrorism war and repeated mistakes. The Taliban remained and gained more power day by day. And ultimately, after 20 years of war and bloodshed and the killings of hundreds of thousands of civilians by all warring factions, handed over the fate of our people to the savage Taliban terrorists. In the recent years, Afghanistan was listed as the most dangerous place for the women to live. And now, after the Taliban's takeover, it has gotten worse. Although Taliban spokesmen are trying to control and pretend they are not against women's liberties, but we are all very aware of their nature. They already showed their atrocities against women by restricting them from studying and work, whipping them and pointing guns towards them in the streets to silence our protests. The very basic rights of education and jobs is taken from women and they are imprisoned. Our beloved brothers and sisters, we sincerely request you and all the justice and freedom-loving people of the world not to forget the tormented people of Afghanistan and be our voice of our plight. We We hope you put pressure on the Western governments to honestly stop supporting any form of fundamentalism and terrorism, including jihadists, Taliban, ISIS-K, and other reactionary forces. We request any kind of pressure on those countries sponsoring Taliban. Afghan people are facing very difficult days, and your support is highly required in these harsh times. Recognition and legitimization of the Taliban would be counted as treason against our suffering people. I'm going to read that again. Recognition and legitimization of the Taliban would be counted as treason against our suffering people. If the history will write about the dishonesty and crimes of the U.S. government towards our country and their dirty games, it will also have bold memories of bravery and commitment of our American sisters and brothers, all those freedom-loving people of the world who stand with the oppressed people of Afghanistan against imperialism, religious fundamentalism, and fascism in any form. We are proud of our sisters around the world. We rise with you with our rage and hate against the fundamentalism and hope for a bright future and freedom. Love from the Revolutionary Association of the Women of Afghanistan.